Alright everybody, welcome back. I want to do a video on these DURATECH 90 tooth long handle ratchets. These are the Black Manganese Phosphate, I guess is what they're calling these. These are obviously the long handled, like I said. You know, there's a half inch that has a 15-inch handle, and then a 3/8 has a 12-inch handle, and then a quarter with an 8-inch handle on it. And we'll get them open here. We'll take a look at them together and go over them. But from what I see on some of the chrome versions of these up on YouTube, I think I'll probably like those as well. I had a previous video on their I guess, you know, traditional length handle ratchets, and I like these quite a bit for, you know, a decent budget set of ratchets. We'll see how these compare to the quality-wise to the chrome-plated short-handled versions like I have, or standard length handles like I have. But we'll get in here and get them open and take a look at them. And I'll just bring the half-inch one up here to let you guys take a look at the, you know, the specs on the handle there. These are made by that Great Star Industrial. We kind of know those guys by now. So they're coming in a plastic bag. They've got their, you know, just a pamphlet here, brochure of, you know, the different tools that they have. We'll get these all out of here and then we'll pull them out of the wrappers together. You set these boxes aside and get them out of our way. Looks like they all had the brochures and with them. They sell these as a set, but at the time that when I went to buy these, I guess these are kind of in high demand, so the price went up about $20 more than the chrome 3-piece set. If you bought these individually, it was still kind of about the same, but I think you can get the chrome long-handled versions for like $39. But if you try to buy all three of these at the same time, which I did not, I bought these all separately so they wouldn't get banged up in shipping. I didn't know that they were going to come in cardboard boxes, but if you buy all three of these at the same time as a set, they're like up to $52 right now, whereas like I said, the chrome long-handled versions were $39. So looks like the 1/4-inch one was coated in oil, it looks like, on the outside. Same with the 3/8. The 1/2-inch one looks like it's coated in oil as well. And you'll have to do that periodically with these, either black oxide or this manganese phosphate black finishes on any of your tools. You'll have to end up wiping them down with 3-in-1 oil or whatever you have, you know. Motor oil works fine with them, but we'll bring them up here and take a look at them. This 90 tooth designation on here is just laser etched, as is the DURATECH logo. The knurling on this is just as good as the chrome versions I have. It's very reminiscent of old school USA made knurling, real aggressive. Close this knife up so I don't cut myself with it. Bring this 3/8 up and take a look at it. Knurling's real aggressive on that as well. 1/2 inch. The knurling's really nice as well on it. Hopefully they're able to keep that up during their production run. I do see some handling marks on there. Looks like there's a little spot of the manganese phosphate, and I guess probably where it was sitting on a rack and it didn't get transferred too well on the 1/2 inch. We'll take a look at these anvils. The chrome versions were machined after they were forged. That's how these are as well. You can see that the mill marks on it, and then down to a flat shoulder. Ball detents nice and centered on it, crimping on it. The back drag didn't feel real bad on that 1/2 inch one either. Ball detent crimping is well centered on that as well. That 3/8 is very good, very little back drag. This was machined as well after it was forged. These are definitely lubricated inside with something. Quarter-inch one's a little stiff. It's not too bad. Ball detent crimping looks pretty centered on that as well. And the 1/4 inch one was machined after the anvil was machined after it was forged. So pretty good so far. I do see some oil around the anvil on the 1/4 inch one there. Very, very light back drag on these. I mean, they're not like, you know, well worn in gear wrench 92s, but they're pretty dang close. Let's look at the slop. Not a lot. These, just going off my other set that I have, the back plates were thicker than my gear wrench set, or all my gear wrench sets, plus the Huskies and Quins and everything that I have. A little bit of slop in the 1/2 inch. And that 1/2 inch feels great. And I usually don't really care too much about the back drag on 1/2 inch ratchets. I'm sure you guys have heard that before in my videos, but let's take that 1/2 inch one apart and take a look at it. Trying to do this all in one take, make the videos a little quicker for us. Don't see a lot of oil behind the snap ring. Let's get this back plate out of here. I have my calipers out here. Yep, there's definitely some. That definitely looks like a super lube or something, some sort of black grease in there, dark grease. But we'll fire up these calipers and we'll take a look at this back plate thickness. So 83 thousandths, 84 thousandths. That's about the same thickness as the as these traditional length-handled ones. Yeah, this definitely has some sort of super lube grease in it or something. So obviously the same setup as the traditional link chrome ones that I did about a month ago or whenever it was. Take this anvil out and take a look at it. Yeah, there's definitely some sort of grease in there. Yep, some sort of darker colored grease there. Doesn't have a offensive smell or anything on it. So, like I said before, you know, these have a raised face on the back of the anvil here, and this other raised face here, you know, fits into this back plate and gives you a pretty good bearing surface on both sides of the anvil. You know, and you're actually going to get some bearing surface along this anvil diameter to the gear diameter, because it's such a tight fit in the ratchet. Try to get this up here and get close for you guys. Try to wipe some of this grease off or whatever this is. Yeah, it just looks like some sort of like ball bearing grease or something on it. There's no O-rings in these. These just have undercuts in here. I guess that's, you know, traditionally I've always thought of that as, you know, just being to hold oil or grease in there. No, the anvil looks really well made, really well machined. Wipe my hands off here. I'm not super fond of grease in finer tooth ratchets. I'll probably clean this one out and put maybe some 3-in-1 oil or Lucas or something like that, or even just motor oil or 90 weight or something is good enough, especially if these are going to be out in my garage. You know, obviously I have a fairly extensive ratchet collection, but I try to use everything that I have, and these are going to be out in the garage in a big Lista cabinet. So if I'm out there wrenching in the winter, you know, I want to be able to use them without the teeth skipping, or, you know, the gear skipping because of the grease. So this has a 90 tooth designation on the back side of the pawl. If you remember, this is the front side because that kind of jives with that switch, that proud portion of that switch there right before the ball detent stick, or the pawl detent sticking out of there. That's what's keeping the works together there. You know, kind of went over that before, but there's some lesser quality ratchets that don't have that, and there can be a tendency for that switching mechanism to pop out of there if these drop on the ground in a, you know, a precarious spot if you were to leave this in this position, you know. Obviously there's a bunch of grease on the inside of this thing. Machining looks pretty good on it. The black phosphate, manganese phosphate finish was done pretty good on the inside as well. There's no O-rings or anything in these, so they're just kind of dust proof, as I like to call them. We'll get this guy back together and we'll just make this a little bit of a longer video, and we'll take a look at the other ratchets as well. Let me get something in there to hold that pawl down. Unlike the gear wrench ratchets, I can get my finger in there to hold these pawls down whenever I'm putting in the anvils, but with this cutout being like it is on the back side of the ratchet, or right here for the back plate, I have a hard time getting my fat fingers down in there. There we go. We can check for function on this style of ratchet because we don't have to worry about the pawl coming out of it. Oh, even wiping off some of the grease, it still feels really good. Get this back together and we'll take apart the 3/8 and take a look at it. like I said, I'll go over these and put, man, I just can't. They did a really good job on these. Nice long length on it too as well. Set that guy aside and we'll get the 3/8 over here and take it apart. Take a look at the back plate thickness on the 3/8. So it looks to be about 60 thousandths. So they're thinning them down at, you know, on the size as they go. This just seems like it has like a light oil in it. Yeah, I mean, I can see it kind of wet in there. Unless that's grease or something in there. Light grease. Pretty tight getting that guy out of there. Bring this 3/8 anvil up and we'll take a look at it. Cat hair, sorry. Yeah, this one just seems to be oiled. There may be a little bit of light grease on the back side of it. So same thing with this, you know, raised face that fits down into a counter bore in the ratchet head. They've coated the entire head in the manganese phosphate on this one as well. Kind of have that divided pawl there without a center tooth on it. (90T) designation on the back of that as well. That's the front side. I guess that might be an HG. I don't know. I have to just see that in post. But the anvil or the pawls definitely have some sort of anti-wear coating on them or something. Now the machining on the 3/8 looks good as well. Let's hope they can keep it up during their production run on them, you know. Get this anvil back in here. Maybe kind of hard to hang these in the air and test for back drag on them with them being so long. Get our snap ring back on. And just test for function real quick. Let me put a socket on it. Pretty good socket retention as well. Very light back drag on it. I mean, if it's probably close to my quins and gear wrenches. Oh man, yeah, pretty good socket retention. That's kind of an old wore out socket too. We'll check this 1/4 inch one as well. Pretty good retention on that. This 1/4 inch one does have a little bit more back drag than the other two. Well, for its size, I guess, you know. That's not too bad, I guess. spin that one on a drill for a little bit. This way it seems really good. Pretty light back drag. There's been some comments about the noise on some of these ratchets, you know, but if I brought down my $100-something, 120 XPs down, you know, you'd hear them just as loud as these, you know, or my Huskies or something, you know, anything that has this kind of open back plate, and I've talked about it before in videos, you know, it's going to transmit a little bit more noise. You know, than if it was something with like 1/8 of an inch thick back plate or 3/16 or whatever, like on a twin pawl ratchet. Well, these sound pretty good. Where did that other one go? Now this one just has, you know, whatever they had in it from the factory, the light oil. Oh, these look pretty good. I'm surprised that, you know, a couple videos and even some of the Amazon reviews on the chrome versions of these were saying that they were, you know, pretty much coming in dry, but that 1/2-inch one obviously had some sort of grease in it, you know, wheel bearing grease or something. I don't know, whatever they're putting in it. And this 3/8 inch obviously had some light oil or something in it as well. I take apart the 1/4-inch one, and we're already making the video really long anyway, so what's it matter, huh? Kind of a close fitting snap ring on that guy. Now this one does have some lube in it as well. See it? Some more of that real light grease. It's definitely thicker than like some 3-in-1 oil or the Lucas oil. Try to get this little guy up in camera here. Now there's that black. So they got some sort of light black grease in all of these. See it smearing off of my hand there. And they did a pretty good job on all these. All right, let me get this this one back together and we'll end it out. All right, give me a second. All right, there we go. Got this guy back together here. I do notice that this snap ring is really close to touching that anvil, the rotational part of that anvil there. It must not be hurting it. I don't have my 1/4-inch version of the traditional handled ones down to take a look at it. It must not be bothering it. I mean, it's got a little bit of slop. Anyway. So yeah, these look like a pretty good bet. You know, if you can get them. I mean, right now it just seems like that, you know, they kind of bumped up the price, I guess, because the I guess maybe the stock's going down on them or something. I don't know, but the you know, everybody seems to like the chrome versions of these, and I think I kind of wanted to add. I think I thought about this last time, and I should have stated it, but you know, these are new for DURATECH, this style of ratchet with this single pawl, and they replaced these guys here, which was that twin pawl proto style 90 tooth, and these are probably one of the lightest back drag set of ratchets that I have. They're just unbelievable. Not a lot of slop. The fitment on them was super good. I had a full set of those. I used the crap out of them for a while over the summer, and I really beat up the 1/4-inch version of that one. I was like, man, I'm going to buy another set, another 1/4-inch one, but I guess they've discontinued them and went with these guys here. So I guess it's a pretty good trade-off, you know. this head is, you know, it's probably a little thinner, you know, than what they replaced with it here on that twin pawl style setup. And I know they still sell a ton of twin pawl setups in their budget lines, you know, but I think with them, with them coming out with this set, with that single floating pawl and this, you know, style of mechanism, will do pretty good for them. I'm anxious to get this 1/4-inch one and bust my Jeep wheels off. I wanted to go in there and do some front brake work on my CJ6 that I have, so I'll be using this guy tomorrow on it. But so just remember, if you get anything like this, and this is how it's been for a long, you know, over 100 years, if you got this either black oxide or if you've got this black manganese or whatever finish on here, you'll have to oil these. You know, wipe them clean, wipe the dirt and grime off on them, and then, you know, motor oil, use motor oil or whatever, wipe them down, and that'll keep them looking really good and keep them from kind of, you know, starting to get grungy, and they could potentially flash rust because of this. But anyway, I figured you guys would get a kick out of seeing these, so I figured I'd put them up there. All right, have a good weekend. Bye.